This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hello and welcome to The Complete Guide to Everything, a podcast about everything. I'm one of your hosts, Tom.
And I'm Tim.
Tim, why'd you say it like that?
What do you mean?
Just kind of like scary. And I'm Tim.
I was announcing myself.
Oh, I see. You're doing...
Ladies and gentlemen, your Chicago Bulls.
Oh, you
right?
you get introduced as a team?
Yeah.
I thought
Tim.
I thought you were I thought you were gonna go for like a Don Pardo.
Oh, yeah. Rest in peace.
Yeah. But like Will Ferrell and Tim.
If I ever got on SNL, I'd change. I'd do a Roseanne, Tom. I'd do a Cher.
Yeah.
That way it'd be memorable.
You know what? I think you could get away with it too, because like there aren't real famous like one super famous Tim. You know?
Yeah.
Like you don't. If I said just like oh yeah, I want to see that new Tim movie, like you wouldn't know what that is.
Yeah, Tim who? Yeah, but if you're like, oh, I got to see this new Marty film.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Oh, Back to the Future. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
didn't know they made a new
Exactly.
one.
They made 3 of them, Tom.
Yeah, I know. They made 2 of them back to back. I saw recently. Oh boy, you're gonna regret you brought this up because
You brought up Back to the Future.
I saw recently a clip. Somebody,
Do this?
you know how people will record like the whole like walkthrough of a theme park ride and put it online nowadays.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I was watching one of those for Muppet Vision 3D the other day.
But also, the last time I was at a Disney, I saw like a guy with a GoPro on his head, and I was like, you like in a place of very embarrassing people, you are by far the most embarrassing person here.
But is it, or is that man doing a public service so that people like me can watch a Muppet Vision in 3D?
I don't know if he was doing it for the Muppet Vision. I think he was, just gonna watch it back later. I don't know, VR or something, and
I don't know.
Just like I was there. But anyway,
I'm surprised they allow that.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised too. It was in France, though.
Yeah.
I kept complaining, and they would say "C'est la vie."
This is what they did. They took a long drag on their cigarette.
Yeah, it's like that guy's wearing a camera. I think he's stealing your intellectual property and violating a number of trademarks.
Was it Mickey Mouse taking a long drag up? C'est la vie.
Yep. They made a Mickey Mouse sized cigarette for him to smoke, so he didn't have to take the helmet off.
Of course.
To be clear, it was Mickey smoking, not the person playing Mickey.
Yeah, I mean that guy also had a cigarette in there, as all Frenchmen do.
Yeah, of course. Well, he had to get his voice scratchy.
Yeah.
Make sure it sounded like he was really smoking, because the French, they'll know. Papa, he is not really smoking. I can tell. You have ruined my trip to Disney.
So I think the key would be, Tom, Lorne and the gang. They wouldn't hire me if I went in there. They'd be like, "This is too audacious," right? A guy just going by one name.
No,
I'd have to get hired.
And then you wait till the night of, and you go, "Oh, there's been a change to the script."
Yeah, slip a note to Don Pardo and sign it from Lorne.
Yeah, make sure it's in Courier font, so he knows.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, well, I mean, it looks just like the other script, so it must be official.
Exactly, and then it'll be like, and featuring Tim.
Yeah,
Right? And then
you would
boom,
be
a star is born.
You would start being the titular Tim.
Yeah,
Arnold.
they'd have to
That's a
put me on
good
movie.
example. You say Arnold. I'm going to go see an Arnold movie, because the example I kept thinking was my own name, and I was
but then
like,
you got
no,
Hanks
there's
and
Hanks and Cruz.
and Hardy.
Yeah,
I guess Hardy isn't on the same
on the
level.
Tom list.
He's on the long list. He's not on the short list, I'd say.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, the Tims, they've got a solid backline of secondary Tims. I got off track though about the theme park rides.
Okay, yeah. I tried to bring it back to pulling one over on Lorne Michaels.
Right. Well, you know,
you're bringing it back.
There will be plenty of time in the future to talk about how once you're on SNL, you're going to trick Lorne Michaels into letting you just be known as Tim.
Can I just tell you one thing, though? You read these articles about all these. There's been a lot of press coverage around like the SNL 50 and stuff.
Right, yeah.
And like there's been a lot of like stories about like profiles on Lorne Michaels and like interviewing cast members, and everybody, like current and former cast members and anybody who's ever worked on the show, is like so terrified to
he's
speak
a powerful
out to
man.
him. I know. I just wish there was one person that like got into the SNL ecosystem who like didn't want to be there, just with the sole purpose of being like the one person ever to like go up to Lorne Michaels and tell him he's just some gray-haired idiot.
Well, I think that's why there isn't that person.
The old white-haired jerk.
I'm sure that there were people like that throughout the 50 years, and he promptly buried their career so that, you know, I'm sure there are plenty of people that worked one season on SNL that would like happily tell you, like,
no,
they
try to look. These journalists want the dirt. Nobody's willing to speak on the record to criticize Lorne Michaels.
Maybe
he's just a good man.
Also, like, usually when, you know, you're celebrating like the 50th anniversary of like an entertainment institution, you don't need to both sides it. You don't need to then go find people that don't like him.
No, there was an entire New York Magazine or Vulture like profile of Lorne Michaels that of course he didn't sit for. Right. And like it was very clear, like they're like, a lot of people had a lot of bad things to say about him, but not on the record, and wouldn't let me share.
Well, that too, like you don't, I think especially because nobody's out there saying it, that you don't want to be the one person that.
But like, don't you want to find the one person that does want to be the one person?
Yeah, but I could also, no, because then I wouldn't, like these people, the people that, you know, could say like, yeah, he made my career. I wouldn't have been anywhere without him. However, like he is kind of a fucking dickhead, you know, when just talking to him or whatever. Like I'll believe that much more than somebody. I'll just assume somebody's like bitter about.
Well, that's what you would do. You think of anybody who speaks out against an old, powerful man is just bitter.
Exactly. They're just looking for money.
You don't get to be that old and that powerful if you're not great.
Exactly. At some point, somebody would have stopped him. Otherwise.
So anyway, but back to the Future.
Back to the Future. So I watched the other day one of those videos for a new Back to the Future ride that opened at like a random theme park in Italy.
Okay.
And it's very confusing what, like, if it's official or not.
Did they like drug Bob Gale and get him to sign off on something?
It like kind of almost felt to me like they signed a deal with some other company that owns like a few very specific rights for like certain elements from the movie. But
did they like only have the DeLorean, and it was like the John DeLorean estate was licensed it?
Well, no, it's because the premise is that it's Doc Brown's kids, Jules and Vern, and this is, you know, they have like it looks very similar to the old Universal ride, like the, you know, when you're going through, it's like, you know, an institute. But first off, the two of them are speaking Italian the whole time in like all the videos, and they didn't do that in the movies. And then like it's a motion simulator ride, but you're not in a DeLorean, you're just, you know, in like a movie theater type thing. And like watching the video, it's like, that doesn't look like that great. You know, the like 3D, it's kind of tough to tell because it is in like stereoscopic, so you can't see
Right.
you're seeing the two lines because I don't have 3D glasses at home, shockingly.
I'm shocked you don't. Yeah.
But even through that messing with it, you could still tell this really isn't like great quality. Like, it's not bad, but this doesn't look like, if you had Universal themselves do it, that they probably like, oh, we have like official assets that we use. We have a 3D model of the DeLorean that is, perfect within a millimeter, and that is what we use for all these things.
You think the Italians were just like, no, we got it?
I like kind of have a feeling that they licensed like the cartoon version of Back to the Future or something, because there's no pictures of Marty or Doc anywhere in the ride. There is like the DeLorean, and it looks like the DeLorean. Nothing with Biff. It's like, but the two kids say their dad is Doc, but we never see him. So like I said, it's some kind of weird, like, I think maybe they did just get the rights to like the time machine DeLorean. Like, okay.
Was Einstein the dog there?
No. And that's what I'm saying. I think it was like they got the time machine DeLorean, and they were like, yeah, but you can't use, of course, anything else. And they were like, nah. And then they were like, yeah, we'll come up with our own Italian story for it was very similar to the quote unquote story in the ride too, where, you're just going through different times.
But Michael J. Fox appeared in it as Marty McFly.
No,
right?
Tim, Michael J. Fox did not appear in it at all. There wasn't even a hint of him.
It would be funny though, if you were watching it and you're like, this seems off brand, and then in struts Crispin Glover.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right? A man who famously decried those films after the first one.
Yeah. Because they used his image without his permission.
I figured out I've always been a little afraid of Crispin Glover.
Because he's like a maniac. He almost kicked Letterman in the head that one time.
Yeah, that's fine. Everybody makes a big deal out of that. So David Letterman almost gets kicked in the head by
everybody made a big deal because he made a big deal. He banned him from the show.
He did. But my thing is, I think I conflated him as a young child because his name is Crispin with Mr. Crisp.
With and he kind of looks like Mr. Crisp.
Yeah, exactly.
You could easily see that casting having come down between those two actors.
And was it like, oh man, is Mr. Crisp, who I know is a fictional character, is he based on the screenwriter's real life experiences with Crispin Glover?
So wait, who is the screenwriter? And the screenwriter is Arnold's character?
No. The screenwriter of Kindergarten Cop.
Yeah, but I'm saying he's basing it on his own life, and in his life,
what I'm saying is like,
Glover.
Look,
he started dating Crispin Glover's ex-wife, and
I'm a kid, right? And I'm watching Kindergarten Cop, and Mr. Crisp, the villain in that movie, scares the hell out of me. But on some level, I'm like, I know this is a fictional character.
Right.
But then I see this guy with a similar name who looks kind of like him, Crispin Glover, in the real world. And I'm like, oh, man, that's too similar to be a coincidence.
Right.
This must be the real-life version of Mr. Crisp, that they based the character off of to make Kindergarten Cop.
Well, it's very easy to find out, Tim. You just have to go back to Kindergarten Cop and see if the writer of that movie was named Dominic.
Oh, that's true. Imagine it was.
It was just the titular Dominic, too. No last name for him either.
Yeah.
It's Dominic.
Pulled that one past the studio. Put that one by the studio executives.
Yeah, the naming a character after yourself in a movie you wrote.
Yeah, and then crediting yourself with just one name.
All right, you ready to talk baths, you creep?
Tom, you're the one who suggested this topic.
Yeah, because you're assuming I meant a creep because you like, naked people or whatever. I'm saying you're a creep because you smell bad, and I suggested you take a bath. There was a comical misunderstanding.
Right. No. Well, yeah. To answer your question, yes. You really backed me into a corner. I am ready to talk about baths, but I don't want to concede that I am a creep.
Well, you just answered when I addressed you as a creep, so.
Well.
Tim, tell me about where you are with baths.
Tom, I'll tell you where I am with baths
in
right
your
now.
Journey.
I wish I could take more of them, but my current tub doesn't really accommodate a good bath.
Because it's too small.
Yeah, it's an apartment tub. And sometimes I'll get on Zillow and I'll look at some other places. I dream of moving to
I didn't know you could buy just bathtubs on Zillow.
No, man. I'm on the lookout for an entire new life based around a nice bath experience in my own home.
Oh.
If I had a nice bathtub, Tom,
mm-hmm.
I would take a bath every single night.
Now, what would you consider a nice bathtub? Like if the sky was the limit, what would you want? If money was no object?
I would want a large tub that is comfortable to sit down in and fill up with water, and it looks real clean, and it is real clean.
Tim, I'm imagining a situation where you've just won the lottery, and you've asked me to come with you to the bathtub store, and you just explained that to the clerk. And I'm embarrassed. It's obvious this guy's new money.
Yeah, sure.
He doesn't even know how to describe a beautiful bathtub.
You ever see a real estate listing and it's like the bathroom has like a soaking tub and a shower? It's like, yeah, I want that soaking
separate?
tub. Yeah, I want a tub that's just there for just tub stuff.
Now, what about the idea of just getting like a big barrel you can go in?
Well, I want to lie down. I don't want to be upright.
You float in the water, so it's just as good.
No, it's not. Where are you with baths these days?
Tim, I couldn't tell you the last time I took a bath.
Yeah. Do you like taking baths? Do you aspire to take baths?
I don't think I really do. I think when I was a kid and I went from having baths to taking showers, I never looked back.
Oh, I want to do, but no, I'm not thinking about. I don't think baths are an effective way to clean your body.
Oh, okay.
Or that's not what I'm thinking. Baths for me are purely a recreational experience, right?
Okay.
It's a relaxation thing.
You often get out dirtier than you went in.
Yeah. Not often. Every single time. It's like, Tom. It's like naps, right? Like I aspire, now that I think about it, if I could have a nap and a bath every day, that's all I need in life. Yeah, like a baby. And I don't need a nap, right? It's not like, oh, I need a nap because I'm not getting enough sleep.
It's just nice. It's luxurious.
I like to just fuck off for an hour in the middle of the day and just,
be
fall asleep. Yeah. Same thing with baths. It's not like, oh, I need that to get clean. It's like, no, I'll take a shower. That's cool. But if I want to relax and read a book in some warm water, hey, no better place to do that than a bathtub.
See, but here's where I would argue there is a better place, and that's a hot tub.
Hot tub, sometimes too hot. And also...
Look, you can adjust that. The bath and the bath can be too hot sometimes too, Tim. Let's be honest.
I know, but I'm not looking for I'm not looking to harm myself. You can't go in a hot tub every day.
I think you can.
Pulse would fall off.
Your what? Your pulse?
Your balls would fall off.
Your balls. Oh, because it's too warm for your balls?
Yeah,
is that?
Yeah.
Then you turn it down a little bit.
And then you might as well be in a bath.
That's not what they say, that if you go in the hot tub every day, your balls will fall off. No, I'm pretty sure that's not what they say. I think it has something. I think it can like affect your fertility.
Yeah.
For a guy, because if sperm's too warm for too long,
Right.
they'll just die.
Right. And guys like us that want to father, hundreds of children well into our
Hundreds, if not
80s and
thousands.
90s. Yeah.
Guys like us have been stockpiling our own sperm bank for decades now.
We're going to be like Vince Vaughn in that movie.
Vince Vaughn in what? In Swingers?
No, the movie where he fathers all the kids.
Oh yeah, what was the name of that movie?
I don't know. It seemed like a sicko movie, but I think it was like a heartwarming family film.
Yeah, something like that. Like, yeah, then he becomes like a good dad to all the kids or
to
something.
Like 1,000 kids.
Yeah, yeah. But yes, I can't tell you the last time I took a bath. I think I don't. You know what it is? I don't think I would take a bath unless I was doing it in lieu of a shower. And in that case, I wouldn't like it because I wouldn't be cleaning my hair.
Oh, you can clean your hair in the bath.
I know, but like it's not as good.
And then you cry when your mom pours the water over your head.
Exactly.
Gets in your eyes.
Well, but it's harder to get out. To rinse it out of your hair in a bathtub than it is a shower.
That's true. Unless you have your mom there to pour the water over your head.
No, I'm saying even if you do have your mom there to pour the water over your head, I still think that you're going to have to do that more.
Yeah.
Because I give my dog a bath sometimes. And
I give your dog a bath sometimes too.
You've never given my dog a bath. What a weird thing to say. What a weird lie.
Nobody listening knows the actual truth. The truth lies somewhere in between. Right. There's three sides to the story. Your side where I don't bathe your dog, my side where I do bathe your dog, and the truth.
Yeah. People are just going to have to sit and decide for themselves who has more to gain from making this up. And you know what? It's going to be confusing. It's going to be tough to figure out.
Does your dog like baths? Ginger. Let's call it. Let's call Ginger. It what it is. Her name is Ginger.
Ginger used to not like baths, but I think because they were more infrequent. And then once Laura started living with me, she was like, we got to wash this dog more often. So I think
this place stinks and it's because of the dog.
So I think as a result of her having baths more often, she's more used to it. And also I read at some point, and it was about babies, that like a good temperature, and they were saying like it's even if it like feels too hot to you, that's not actually like too hot. That's okay.
As somebody who has a young child, that's a weird thing that's true. That's the advice they give, but it's also like, the first time you're like, this feels too hot, but now I'm going to put my kid in it.
Yeah. Also it's like that, even if that is true, it's still only to a degree.
Yeah. No, I mean,
but that's what I'm saying. They should have, if they're like, if they're going to have an advice saying, oh, it's going to feel too hot, there should be some kind of coupled like, but, if you put a candle in and it melts the wax, then it's too.
I'm not going to do that. I don't have candles to burn just to make sure I don't burn my kid.
You're not burning it. You're just putting it in the water. I don't know.
Candles.
I was trying to very quickly figure out what you could use besides, of course, a thermometer to tell that
I think
water
also
is
just
too
like
hot.
Using your common sense, where it's like, no, I know what will burn.
No, because they say don't use your common sense. It actually should be warmer than you would think.
They're just saying recalibrate your common sense, which I think we both successfully did. Your dog's happy, my kid's happy.
Yeah. That sounds like some kind of like a 90s like seatbelt buckle up campaign. Recalibrate.
Just the word recalibrate.
Yeah, what did you say? Recalibrate your assumptions.
Well, yeah, that's cool. That sounds like
yeah, it's a pretty cool thing to say.
That sounds like a Crystal Pepsi tagline or something.
Yeah,
recalibrate your expectations.
Yeah, I like that. I'd
Oh, you know what? That would be good for. They're just not cool enough. RC Cola, and then you could say recalibrate RC.
Oh, RC
your expectations.
Tim, all this is great stuff. We gotta get the RC Cola people on the line. I know they spend a lot of money on advertising, so that's why you see them everywhere.
For a while in the 90s, in the early 90s, when the Yankees were bad, they were the official cola of Yankee Stadium.
Wow, that's humiliating.
It was like, yeah, we deserve to be in last place.
The official soda of Yankee Stadium, ShopRite brand, Diet Cola.
I mean, you know, Tom, if you
available
and I were...
exclusively in 3-liter bottles.
Where did they sell 3-liter bottles? Oh yeah, they did.
Yeah, it was the generic soda.
Yeah,
and I think they had to make the plastic thicker. Those things were dangerous.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I think ne'er-do-well kids would throw those off on overpasses and really hurt people.
Yeah, that's
like
also
in the Good Son.
Like how they sell cider in the UK. Remember, you go into a supermarket and they would sell alcoholic cider, but in big 2-liter.
Oh no, I don't remember
2 or 3-liter jugs. I feel like I saw a 4-liter once. Yeah.
That's too much. Everybody calm down over there.
Well,
you guys drink too much.
That's
concerning.
The kind of thing you pick up if you're going to a big festival like Glastonbury.
They let you bring in big jugs full of cider?
You go to the grounds ahead of time and you bury it.
Smart.
The earth will keep it naturally cool. You ever hear about that? Like how, you just dig a hole, not even that deep. It's it'll always be a good temperature down there.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild, huh?
Yeah, that's nice. It's nice to think about.
It's nice to know that you could, worst comes to worst.
You're never, you're never too far horizontally from a temperate place.
Yeah, if you're stranded in freezing temperatures or something, hey, just dig.
Just start digging.
Yeah, and not just through the snow. Keep going.
Yeah,
keep going till you're nice and warm.
You can just tunnel to the other side of the earth and get out.
All right, Tim. Let's get back to baths.
Yeah, let's cut the shit. Let's talk baths.
Have you ever been to a public bath?
Yes.
That used to be the only kind of bath that they would have.
Yeah. I believe I went in Budapest.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Was it ornate?
Yeah, it was all ornate. There were a bunch
Marble?
of weirdos in there. Yeah. And it was cool. You just go in these different rooms, but they're natural rooms, but you know what I mean? They're carved out of something, maybe.
Like a cave, maybe?
Part of it was. I don't really remember. I don't know why I have such a bad memory for things that happened less than a decade ago.
I don't know why I have such a bad memory for memorable things, memorable events in my life.
Have you been to natural baths, Tom?
I don't think I've ever been in a natural bath. I've been in a heated pool once or twice.
Yeah, I've seen you in a heated pool.
You've seen me in a heated pool.
I have. And I will not elaborate, sir.
I know, because I'm the instances I was thinking of, you weren't there, or at least I didn't think you were.
Well, who knows? You've been in many a heated pool, right? Most pools you go into are heated.
No, not most pools I go into are heated.
Yeah.
When?
You
in the
worked
summer?
at a pool that was heated?
That wasn't heated.
Really?
No.
Why wasn't it really cold?
Why wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was really cold all the time.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, why was it so hot all the time? It wasn't hot all the time.
Most backyard pools are heated.
That is 100% not true.
Really? In New York?
Yeah. In New York. Because then you would see people using their pools more than they do outside of just the summer.
Not if there's snow on the ground, you dink.
Okay. Well, I mean, lately in New York, maybe a week out of the year, there's snow on the ground. So I'll give you that. There's a few days a year where if you can't use your heated pool because there's snow on the ground.
I don't know. I don't know. Look, I don't have the time.
Because that adds a lot of cost. I don't have the time. I don't have the time to argue.
No, I don't have the time to disprove it with facts because I'd have to look up these facts, and frankly, you're not worth it. I've never heard. It's very rare to see a heated pool. It costs a lot more money to build it. Yeah, pools are expensive.
But it also costs a lot of money to heat that much water. Like you don't see heated outdoor pools very often.
All right, I don't think you're right on that, but you know what? We'll have to agree to disagree. God. Just because you were a lifeguard 25 years ago doesn't make you the authority on all things pools.
I mean, first off, it at least makes me more knowledgeable about the pool I worked in, which you were swearing is heated because it was always warm.
When's the last time you went in that pool?
25 years ago.
Yeah,
Tim?
see, I've been in that way more recently than you.
I don't think I've been in that pool since I stopped being a lifeguard.
Yeah,
I don't trust it.
I've been there many times since you stopped being a lifeguard. So
no, they especially in the summer, you would not be heating a pool.
All right, well, Tom, you don't know what you don't know, and that's your problem.
I've been in the pump house.
And frankly, Tom, your tone is becoming very insulting.
I've been in the pump house there probably 100 times. There's no heater in there.
Tom, I'm getting upset here, and I'm losing my patience here. All right.
Well, speaking of which,
I say we move on. This is about baths, not about pools. Heated pools, of which there are many.
Reading about these Roman baths.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first off,
like some sort of off-brand Back to the Future bath.
No, I don't think that ride was in Rome. I think it was. You ever see sometimes? Again, I'm going to give you a very specific thing. You ever see sometimes like a theme park video online, and it'll be like, "Oh, this is in like Dusseldorf," and you're like, "What? Really? They got like a big theme park there?"
Yeah, I mean Dusseldorf, I think, is like a pretty big city, right?
Yeah, but I don't know.
You were gonna say, yeah. I mean, they have like they have big like roller coaster theme parks in like cities in Ohio.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't know about this. I think that's how they're getting away with all these bootleg rides.
Yeah,
right.
I don't know.
Just put Back to the Future on here. Nobody, no, Universal employees ever going to be out on vacation in this city in Italy and going to a theme park.
They wouldn't know what to do, and also probably like. If you tried to report that to the courts, they'd arrest you and just disappear you.
In Italy, yeah.
Yeah. Who knows what goes on in there?
Who knows?
The Mussolini character.
Nobody's been able to get word in or out since the war.
Yeah. So what are you talking about, these Roman baths?
Yeah, I was reading about these Roman baths, and they were heated. The baths featured a hypocaust system that circulated hot air under floors and through walls, maintaining water temperatures up to 115 degrees.
Huh.
And they also had pilgrims would flock to the site not only for cleansing, but to cast curse tablets. Thin sheets of lead inscribed with grievances into the sacred waters, petitioning the goddess to punish thieves or enemies.
What are you going on about?
At one of these big baths, you could take a bath, or you could like write a letter to a god on a sheet of lead about your grievances and your enemies, and then throw that in there.
They'd be smote.
Apparently, they said over 130 such tablets have been excavated, revealing intimate glimpses of Roman era grievances. But then I don't have any example of those. Probably a lot of like, oh, you spilled wine on my toga. You stepped on my foot and I'm wearing sandals.
Those are the two things you know about Rome.
Those are I imagine those are probably two of the biggest problems in day-to-day life.
Oh,
and that's three things, Tim. I also know that they drink wine.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Nicely done. The rule of threes.
Regular history lesson there for you.
Hold on. I'm asking our friend Jeff, who we had been in his pool many times growing up.
He did not have he might have had a heated pool.
Let's see. Was
I don't know.
Growing up heated. All right.
I feel like his might have been because like we would be like, hey, why don't you like heat that pool up and let's go swimming, and he wouldn't, because again, it costs a lot of money to heat a pool.
I think that's what, like, grown-ups tell kids that everything's really expensive.
It is. Think about like how much energy would be needed to heat up a
real quick response.
Hey, what's the response?
No, not until college.
Okay.
So
we're both right.
His parents decided not worth it for my kid and his dirtbag friends.
I mean, probably a good idea. Like if they had converted the pool and got it heated earlier, there definitely would have been a time where we would have decided, like, let's see how hot we can get the pool. Jeff's parents are out of town. Let's see how hot we can crank it up.
Okay. All right. I'm sending out one more.
Okay.
Our friend Chris, another pool that we spent some time
He
in.
definitely did not have a heater.
Okay, we'll see. Okay.
Unless you're talking about after college.
Okay, let's get back to that.
I think even after college, he did not have a heated pool. Or a heated pool, just regular pool. He had a pool with a very dark bottom, which naturally acted as a way to heat it, I think.
Tom, you keep wanting to bring this to pools and hot tubs. We're talking about baths.
They're similar, Tim. It's all one big family.
You like a hot tub more than you like a bath.
Yeah.
You like the social aspect of it?
Yeah, I think I do like the social, because like anytime I've been in a hot tub, I like
the jets. You like the jets.
Yeah, I love the jets.
You like the jets.
But I would like the social aspect to be like people I know, because I've been in situations on like
hotel hot tubs.
Yeah, where like you're getting in and it's kind of like it is like a little bit weird. It is a little bit too sexy to be doing with strangers. And there's no real reason why a hot tub has to be thought of as sexy, but people do think of them as, sexy things, sexy places.
Yeah, I mean,
where sexy things happen.
Well, in the context of like Love Island or The Bachelor, but like in your life, you haven't. I don't know. I don't even want to go down this road, Tom.
Yeah, no, I haven't had a sexy encounter with a stranger in a hotel hot tub ever.
Right. Okay. I don't like when you're like you're at a hotel and you're like, oh, cool, nobody's in the hot tub.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
and then like a kid comes in.
Yeah, or like like 5 12-year-olds, and it's like, oh, come on, you jerks. I'll play grab ass.
I'm trying to enjoy myself here. I don't want to play grab ass.
Not even I don't want to. I absolutely don't want to, and also I don't want anybody doing that near me.
No, come on, old man. You got to play grab ass with us.
See, the thing is, everybody sees me as young, so everybody would be like, "Oh, he's one of us."
Right? Yeah, they'd be confused. I guess
this. Like, did he come with us? It's like, no, I'm the grown man, and I want you guys to leave.
Yeah, I guess this doesn't really have to do with bathtubs either. But I was just reading about these baths that they had, like a warm room, a hot room, and a cold room, and they were called a tepidarium. That was
for the warm room.
Mm-hmm. Caldarium.
Okay,
that's a hot one.
Yeah.
And then the cold one, frigidarium.
Frigidarium.
Yeah, which I think the frigidarium. I would have called it a
burarium.
I mean, there's not a regular thing called a burarium.
Yeah, but there's a terrarium.
There is a terrarium. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's but the cold one would be a burarium.
I get it.
Because it's cold.
Yeah. I see. There's apparently in medieval Europe, bathing habits regressed. Medieval Europeans associated immersion with disease, favoring linen undergarments to, quote, absorb impurities instead. And then they like found out about germs, and they're like, oh, all right, we'll go back to taking baths again.
See, you and I think they're so dumb. They're like, oh, you guys don't even know about germs. If we didn't know about germs, I wouldn't figure it out.
That's where you and I differ. I think I would have figured it out eventually.
Nobody told me about germs. I wouldn't assume that germs were a thing.
Eventually, I would have taken a peek under the microscope.
Tom, what about bubble baths?
When I was a kid, Tim, one of my favorite guys was Mr. Bubbles.
Oh,
do you remember Mr. Bubbles?
No.
He was the bubble bath. He was like a pink bubble guy, and he was on the box like, oh, because it was like powdered. Yeah, occasionally they would have that, and it was like I didn't understand. It was like, why don't we get this all the time and just always have bubble baths?
We weren't a bubble bath family. Like, I never had a bubble bath. I don't think to this day. And we give my son a lot of baths, and then we tried giving him a bubble bath the other day. And he's just like, get those bubbles out of there. I don't want that. Like, the bubbles are the things that like burn my eyes in the bath.
And did you start yelling like, I wish I had a bubble bath when I was a kid?
You know what? I did. In that moment, I didn't have that.
What? Fine. Get out. I'm taking a bath then.
But Tom, one thing that I need to realize is that like, I can't do that stuff because like kids these days, they're not impressed by like the things that I liked or that I wanted when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. So like, I'm just not gonna have any expectation that he'll like anything cool. Because like, what if I show him like, Back to the Future or something, and like when he's like a little bit older and he's like, mid, like, what am I gonna get mad at him for that?
I prefer watching the GoPro footage from the Italian Back to the Future ride, actually,
which is cool.
I don't know. It didn't look very cool. You know how like even when somebody's speaking a different language, you can tell it's like not good acting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of what this was. Not terrible, but I didn't buy these guys as Doc Brown's kids.
I see. So you're just not a bath guy, but you wanted to talk about baths?
Yeah, Tim, I'm not a war guy, but I like talking about wars. I like talking about history.
Really?
Nah, I don't really like talking about wars, I guess.
And from what I understand, you are a war guy, Tom.
Nah, I'm not really a war guy.
I heard Bob Dylan's song "Masters of War" was written about you.
Wow.
You and your cohort.
Well, you know what, Tim? This is the first time hearing of that, so I'm gonna have to look into it more. I can neither confirm nor deny that. Tim, do you know a lot of famous people have taken baths?
Oh no, is this going to be in poor taste?
No, why? What do you think it is?
Who's
like
first?
somebody drowning or something, and I'm like, they really took a bath.
No, yeah, somebody like dying in the bathtub.
Oh no.
Okay.
Although, do you feel comfortable falling asleep in the bathtub?
No, I don't think I would.
Yeah, I don't think I would either. Even though it's like, I'm not going to drown. I'm not going to like fall asleep so heavily that I just go underwater and just never wake up.
Yeah, unless you're under the influence of something.
Right. Yeah, then it can be dangerous. I've always been, I don't like going in water after I've had a few drinks.
Yeah.
Not worth it.
Also, yeah, I don't like it mostly because like I don't feel like doing anything. Like I'm just
After
like, let me
drinks?
just like sit here. Let me sit here and continue pontificating at a very loud volume.
The famous guy I was talking about, Tim, that he's like baths was Napoleon Bonaparte.
Oh yeah, well he was probably small enough that he could fit in my bathtub in my apartment.
That's probably true.
It was a myth that he was actually that small.
But it's not. He actually was like pretty small. It's just that like everybody was pretty small back then because there wasn't like enough nutrients going around.
Right.
But the reason why he's famous for bathtubs, Tim, is that he negotiated the sale of the Louisiana Territory while taking a bath.
Wait, who did?
Napoleon.
Oh, we're still talking about Napoleon.
Yeah, he was in the bath when he sold Louisiana.
Huh? Was he on the telephone?
He couldn't have been. So I'm not really sure what was going on.
He authorized it. They knew, like, okay, we want to sell Louisiana.
Yeah, I guess. Or
get him when he's in a good mood.
Yeah, or like, did the U.S. send like representatives to negotiate, and they were like, oh yeah, just straight through there. He's taking a bath. But
I mean, that would be believable. I don't know. Did you see the Ridley Scott movie? Did they
show him in the bath
that
ever?
Scene? Yeah.
No, you know what? I haven't watched that movie, and I think I would like, even though apparently it's not very good. I think I'd probably still be like, it was all right.
If you're going in with like, everybody says it's bad, but I might think it's all right. Like, maybe don't spend your time watching the 3-hour movie that nobody liked.
But that's the thing, that apparently the 3-hour one is, supposed to be the superior cut.
Yeah.
Although I've heard that they're both bad, that, the theatrical one came out and he was like, well, wait for the director's cut. That's the one. People were like, this one's just longer. It still sucks.
Cool. Well, good luck watching that.
Well, also it sounds like there's like really not like a good plot to the movie.
Yeah.
That's just like kind of a collection of like, maybe painstakingly historical like reenactments of things happening, but like as just a pure movie, apparently just doesn't really hang together. And that makes sense if he was like, I'm just gonna film a bunch of stuff that we know happened to him, and we'll see if we have a movie at the end.
He filmed fake stuff too. Anyway, this concludes Tim and Tom review a movie neither of them saw.
And we reviewed the director's cut.
Who are some other famous bathers, Tom?
That was actually the only one I had on my list.
Okay.
Yeah, I realized that
a landmark episode of the show.
I kind of introduced that like a segment, like I had a whole big list of of famous people that like to take baths.
It's just one.
But I'd say probably the more famous somebody is, the more likely they are to enjoy a good bath.
Yeah. If they have a soaking tub. I just don't understand people who have a nice tub and they don't use it. Do you ever? Yeah, I don't know.
Well, let me ask you this. You ever take a bath? Like when you take a bath, are you just taking a bath in water, or are you putting something in that water to kind of up that bath's game?
Like what, like alcohol?
No, like Epsom salt or something.
I'm not doing that. I don't know what that does.
You don't know what that does? You said it like for all I know, it's harmful.
No, it's just like I don't need that in my life.
I think it feels
just fill it up with water.
Look,
warm water.
I've never done it, but my wife takes a lot of Epsom salt baths and she loves it.
Figures.
She says it feels it feels nicer with the salts.
Well, this is interesting, Tom.
It's I
a
think
wrinkle.
It's more relaxing.
Yeah, I could see that. Is it like
you probably float a little bit better?
Yeah. Okay. I don't necessarily want to float.
Buoyancy reasons.
You know what? I just think it's relaxing. The same way that when we went to those float tanks, it's just like
That's what I was.
Nobody's bothering you.
Yeah.
And everybody agrees they're not going to bother you unless they're like convincing you to sell Louisiana to them or something.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. That reminded me of the time me and you went to a deprivation tank place, and we went in these deprivation tanks separately, of course, or else.
Although I did hear you trying to get into jiggling the door handle.
Yeah, I was trying to get into yours. That's only because I was scared in mine.
Yeah, exactly. It was dark
being
in there.
Alone. But those were nice. That's like a lot of salt water, like heavy salt, so that it's so that I think it's like the density is supposed to be the same as like a human body.
Yeah. But then sometimes you accidentally touch your eye and then you have to get out because it burns so bad.
Yeah. Or like you have a cut and they're like, make sure you put the like Vaseline on this cut before you get in there, or else it'll just burn so badly.
And you just go, screw off.
Well, I just think, well, the water will wash the Vaseline off. But I guess that doesn't happen.
No,
I didn't have to use it, but they gave you some.
Did you argue with them even though you didn't need it? I don't have any cuts, but if I did,
I don't think that would work.
Yeah.
They gave us earplugs too. I remember.
Yeah,
they didn't want us taking any of the salt water home with us.
Our ears, yeah.
Starting up your own sensory deprivation tank at home, like you would a sourdough starter.
So you don't think it would be so? Even though your good friend and your wife both find baths relaxing, you refuse to accept that it might be the case?
No, I'm sure it's the case. I think it's a similar situation that my bathtub just isn't very big.
Right.
And like that's why I was always surprised that Laura would take baths, because I was always like, that's like a small bathtub, but she makes it work.
Yeah.
She's a big enough bath fan that she puts up with it.
Well, that's the thing. Like and I know what your answer is going to be to this, but let's say you like checked into an Airbnb with a nice big bathtub. Would you give that a shot?
Yeah, I'd give that a shot.
I thought you'd say no, because you'd be like, who knows what gross stuff happened in that bathtub.
Nah, I don't really care about like gross stuff in water.
Yeah, right? Like that wouldn't stop you from going in a hot tub, right? Yeah.
I mean, and that's, going in like an Airbnb hot tub is probably so much grosser. Although the last time I was in an Airbnb hot tub, it smelled like very, very bleachy. So I think, they'd
cleaned it.
No, I think it was just like, they were heavy handed with the like chlorine, so that it would kill off whatever bacteria or whatever is in there.
Good.
Also, this hot tub had like a touch screen, and that sucked. It sucks so bad. It's like touch screen. My hands are all wet, and it's like misreading all the touches.
There shouldn't be touch screens in anything anymore.
Remember like when we were kids, like we're old enough now that touch screens were like futuristic technology. Like I remember seeing a touch screen at that like AT&T World of Tomorrow at Epcot Center.
Yeah.
They had like touch screen stuff you could play with, and it's like, this is amazing because of course my whole life as a child I have frequently touched the screens of the TV, but nothing's ever happened.
Yeah, and now it's hey, get that touch screen away from me. Like somebody had a computer that was also a touch. Oh, I think this is my wife. I think she has like the PC for work.
Somebody, like, I don't know who. My wife.
But it's just like wow, you ever use that? It's like, no, I've used the keyboard and the mouse like a normal person. Like, touch the screen.
Yeah, I never.
Child.
That's like a big. I get it if you have like a laptop that like the keyboard flips around and it can kind of be like a tablet or whatever. But the ones that are just regular laptops and have touch screens. Why are you going to do that? There's a trackpad right there. Don't smear up the screen.
Quit smearing up the screen,
you animal.
So, hey, touchscreen manufacturers. Some of us have barbecue sauce all over our hands most of the time. Eating ribs while driving. I want to change the radio station. I can't.
I guess that it's just like the technology got cheap enough that they just started putting it in everything.
Yeah.
And now I think a lot of people, especially people younger that grew up with touch screens everywhere, I think if they had a laptop and like you touch the screen and nothing happens, it's like, oh, this is broken. I know that's the way like my nieces are about certain screens. It's like, oh, it's not doing anything when I'm touching the thing that looks like a button.
Quit touching it, you little freak.
You're screwing up the hot tub. It's getting too cold in here. You ever use a bath bomb? What about that? Besides Epsom salt.
No, that's terrifying, Tom.
Tim,
I'm not against it. Tom, also, I don't, these are things that people don't start using until they're approaching middle age. Right?
Yeah, you're in middle age.
I know, but I've established that I don't have the appropriate venue for taking baths right now.
You've got a tub. You can make it work. If you like baths so much that you would take a bath every day if you could, I don't buy it.
Bath,
you're lying about something. You're either lying about that or you're lying about your tub.
No, I would take a nice bath every day. I wouldn't take a compromised bath every day.
I'm trying to.
Some of us have standards, Tom. You ever think about that?
I'm trying to even remember what your bath looks like.
What my bathtub looks like?
Yeah, I've been in your bathroom, but I can't picture the bathtub.
You've been in my bathroom like a handful of times.
No, I've been in there a lot. You don't know.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I got a copy of your key, and that's actually where I've been doing my number twos.
Right.
While you guys are sound asleep. How big is your bath compared to mine?
I think it's roughly the same size.
See, you can make it work.
I'll talk to your wife. I'll talk to you. Hey, I'll just talk to your wife about her bathing.
Don't you talk to my wife about her baths. How dare you? Tim, I fully expect this time next week, I want to hear that you've had a bath in your bathtub.
Ooh, you know what? I'm going to a place.
Oh yeah, you're skipping town for a week.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. And that's going to be my goal.
Yeah, you're going to like a place that isn't a hellhole like New York City, so people have room for like a full bathtub.
I mean, it's a hellhole in other ways. Every place is a hellhole in some way.
Not I couldn't think of anything.
Heaven.
Not heaven. Yeah, but who knows, nowadays.
I don't know what that means.
Hey, ever since Martin Luther put his new rules, his version of new rules up on the church door.
Man, I can't wait till Bill Maher, at his own time passes away and gets to jam with Jimmy.
You think they're going to play the real time theme song?
Yeah.
So you're under the impression that is a song by Bill Maher.
Yeah.
If you like the show, you can find out more at tcgte.com. You can find links to our subreddit, to our Patreon. You can check out our Patreon, patreon.com/complete guide. This week, we're doing the golden age of cinema.
Which is the 1990s.
Which is the 1990s. And what bigger movie was there in the 90s than this one? Titanic.
Starring Leo and Kate.
Yeah.
Let's talk about two
people with one word names. One word, yeah. If you say, "Oh, I'm going to see the new movie Leo made," you would know who I'm talking about.
I don't know about Kate though.
Yeah, a lot of Kates.
Damn it. Late breaking news. Chris responded to my his pool was not heated, all natural temp. And he seems real proud about it. Yeah, I said, "Was your pool growing up heated?" And he wrote, "Nope, all natural temp." Yeah, congratulations. We're all real proud of you, Chris.
We got that a lot. People thought this was a heated pool, but nope, we just put it in a pretty sunny spot.
All right, you got anything else for baths?
The only other thing I have on my list is just about oils, like bath oils, and that sounds crazy to me.
Yeah.
Come on.
We'll save that for the oils episode.
We'll see you next week.
That was a HeadGum podcast.